My son looked me dead in the eyes and said, "Mom, either you serve my wife like she's your queen, or you pack your bags and leave." I raised this boy for 25 years, sacrificed everything for him, but his wife had poisoned his mind. Little did they know, I had one card left to play. If you've ever dealt with toxic family drama or felt betrayed by someone you loved, hit that like button right now. And make sure to subscribe because this story gets wild, and I share stories like this every week. My name is Samantha, and for most of my life, I thought I was living the American dream. I had a beautiful house in the suburbs, a successful career as a nurse, and most importantly, I had my son Joey. My husband Mark had left when Joey was just 5 years old, so it was just me and my boy against the world. I worked double shifts at the hospital to make sure Joey had everything he needed: piano lessons, soccer camp, college fund. Nothing was too good for my son. When he graduated law school, I cried happy tears. My sacrifice had paid off. That's when he met Ashley. At first, I was thrilled that Joey found someone. Ashley seemed nice enough. She was pretty, well dressed, and came from money. But little things started changing. Joey used to call me every Sunday. Then it became every other Sunday. Then once a month. When I asked him about it, he said Ashley thought we were too close, and it wasn't healthy for their relationship. The wedding was beautiful, but expensive. Ashley's family paid for most of it, which made me feel small. During the reception, Ashley barely spoke to me. When I tried to dance with Joey, she cut in after 30 seconds. But I told myself it was her day. 2 years after the wedding, everything fell apart for me. The hospital where I'd worked for 15 years started cutting staff. They let me go with just 2 weeks' notice. At 52 years old, finding another nursing job wasn't easy. The bills started piling up. When the bank started foreclosure proceedings on my house, I called Joey, crying, and explained the situation. "Don't worry, Mom," he said. "You can move in with us temporarily, just until you get back on your feet." Ashley wasn't thrilled about the idea, but she agreed to let me stay in their guest room for a few months. Their house was huge, a gift from Ashley's parents when they got married. The first week was fine. I tried to stay out of their way, helped with cooking and cleaning to earn my keep. But Ashley's attitude toward me started to change. It began with small comments. "Samantha, could you maybe eat your breakfast a little earlier? We like to have the kitchen to ourselves in the morning." Or, "The guest bathroom is looking a little messy. Remember, this isn't really your house." I brushed it off. So I started getting up at 5 a.m. to have my coffee before they woke up. I kept my bathroom spotless. I even started doing their laundry without being asked. But nothing I did was good enough. Ashley complained that I was using too much hot water. She said my cooking smells were bothering her. When I tried to watch TV in the living room, she would come in and change the channel. Joey saw what was happening, but he never stood up for me. "Mom, just try to get along with her," he would say. "She's adjusting to having you here." 3 months turned into 6 months, and I was still living in their guest room. I had applied for dozens of nursing jobs, but no one was hiring. Ashley's patience was wearing thin. "This was supposed to be temporary," she told Joey one evening. "I heard them arguing in their bedroom. I didn't sign up to have your mother living here forever." The next morning, Ashley sat me down at the kitchen table. Joey was there too, but he wouldn't meet my eyes. "Samantha," Ashley began, her voice sickeningly sweet, "we need to talk about your living situation here." My heart sank. I knew what was coming. You've been here 6 months now, and frankly, it's not working out. Joey and I are newlyweds, and we need our space. I looked at Joey, hoping he would say something. Instead, he stared at his coffee cup. I understand, I said quietly, but I'm still looking for work. Just give me a little more time. Ashley laughed. Time? Samantha, you're 52 years old. Who's going to hire you at this point? You need to face reality. What are you suggesting? That's when she dropped the bomb. Well, since you're living here rent-free, eating our food, using our utilities, maybe it's time you started earning your keep. I mean, really earning it. I was confused. I cook, I clean, I do laundry. No, no, no. Ashley waved her hand dismissively. I'm talking about a real arrangement. You want to stay here? Then you work for us. Full time. Cooking, cleaning, laundry, grocery shopping, yard work, everything. And you do it without complaining. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. You want me to be your maid? I want you to contribute something meaningful to this household, or I want you gone. I turned to Joey, my heart breaking. Is this what you want? Finally, he looked at me, but instead of the love and respect I'd always seen in his eyes, there was something cold. Mom, Ashley has a point. You can't just live here for free forever. If you're not going to get a job, then maybe you should help out around the house more. And if you don't like that arrangement... He didn't finish the sentence, but I knew what he meant. So you're giving me an ultimatum, I said, my voice shaking. Either I become your servant, or I leave. Ashley leaned forward, enjoying every second of my pain. It's like this, Samantha. You have two choices. You can stay here and make yourself useful, which means doing what I ask, when I ask it, without attitude. Or you can pack your bags and figure out your own living situation. Where am I supposed to go? I whispered. She shrugged. That's not really our problem, is it? I had nowhere to go, no money, and no job. So I swallowed my pride and agreed to their terms. I should have left that day, but I agreed to their terms. It started small. Ashley would ask me to clean the bathrooms, vacuum the carpets, do the dishes. But gradually, the requests became demands, and the demands became humiliating. Samantha, I want you to deep clean the baseboards in every room. Samantha, wash my car, and make sure you get the inside too. Samantha, I'm having friends over tomorrow. I need you to prepare appetizers, serve drinks, and stay in the kitchen unless I call for you. That last one hurt the most. Ashley's friends didn't even know I was Joey's mother. To them, I was just the help. One of them even tried to tip me $5 for bringing out more wine. Joey watched all of this happen and said nothing. The worst part wasn't the work itself. It was the way Ashley treated me. She spoke to me like I was stupid. She criticized everything I did. You know, Samantha, she said one evening as I was serving their dinner. My mother always told me that good help is hard to find, but I'm starting to think you're just lazy. I had been on my feet for 12 hours that day, cleaning their house from top to bottom. Maybe we need to establish some stricter rules, she continued. Like a schedule. Wake up at 5 a.m. Have breakfast ready by 7. Start cleaning at 8. Ashley, Joey said quietly, don't you think that's a bit much? For a moment, my heart leaped. Maybe my son was finally going to stand up for me. But Ashley just smiled at him. Oh, honey, don't worry about it. Your mom and I understand each other, don't we, Samantha? She looked at me expectantly, waiting for me to agree. I looked at Joey, hoping he would say something. But he just went back to eating his dinner. Yes, I whispered. We understand each other. The final straw came on a Tuesday morning in November. I had been living as their servant for 3 months, and I was at my breaking point. That morning, I was in the kitchen making breakfast when Ashley came downstairs in her silk robe. Samantha, did you use my good olive oil for cooking? I had used a tiny amount for the eggs. Just a little bit. I can replace it. That olive oil costs $40 a bottle. You don't touch it without asking. She pulled out a bottle of cheap cooking oil. This is what you use from now on. I nodded, trying to keep the peace. But Ashley wasn't done. Also, I noticed you left water spots on the bathroom mirror yesterday. That's unacceptable. I'll clean it again, I said. No, you'll clean it again properly. And then you'll clean all the mirrors in the house. And while you're at it, the windows need washing too. I felt something snap inside me. Ashley, I cleaned that mirror 3 times yesterday. If there were water spots, they were from you using the bathroom this morning. Her face went cold. Excuse me? I said the water spots weren't there when I finished cleaning yesterday. Ashley's voice got very quiet. Are you calling me a liar? Before I could answer, Joey walked into the kitchen. What's going on now? Your mother, Ashley said, practically spitting the words, is being disrespectful. She's arguing with me about her cleaning, and now she's calling me a liar. Joey looked at me with disappointment. Mom, why are you making this difficult? I stared at my son in disbelief. Joey, I've been working nonstop for 3 months. I clean this house better than any professional service. All I asked for was a little respect. Ashley laughed. Respect? Samantha, respect is earned. And frankly, you haven't earned it. That's when something inside me died. The part of me that still believed my son loved me just stopped existing. You're right, I said calmly. I haven't earned your respect. But you know what? You haven't earned mine either. The kitchen went silent. What did you just say? Ashley whispered. I looked her straight in the eye. I said you haven't earned my respect. You're a spoiled, cruel person who gets off on humiliating others. And you, I turned to Joey. You're worse than she is because you know better. Joey's face went red. Mom, you're out of line. Am I? Or am I finally seeing the truth? I untied the apron I had been wearing. I dropped it on the kitchen counter. You want to know what I think? I think you're both pathetic. Ashley, you're so insecure that you have to tear down a 52-year-old woman to feel powerful. And Joey, you're so weak that you let her do it. You can't talk to my wife like that, Joey said. I just did, I replied. And you know what else I'm going to do? I'm going to pack my things and get out of your house. Not because you're kicking me out, but because I finally realize that I deserve better than this. I went upstairs and started packing my few belongings. As I packed, my mind was racing. I had no money, no job, and nowhere to go. But for the first time in months, I felt anger. And anger was much more useful than sadness. But as I folded my clothes, I remembered something very interesting about my perfect daughter-in-law. 2 weeks earlier, while cleaning Ashley's home office, I had noticed some documents on her desk. One of them had my name on it. It was a letter from a private investigator, and it was all about me. Ashley had hired someone to investigate my background, my finances, my employment history, everything. But that wasn't the interesting part. The interesting part was what else was in that file. Ashley came from money, but not as much money as she pretended. Her parents had cut off her trust fund 2 years ago because of her spending habits. The house Joey thought was a wedding gift? It was actually bought with a loan that Ashley had taken out using forged documents. She had been slowly draining Joey's savings to make the mortgage payments. That's why she wanted me to work for free. Not because she enjoyed humiliating me, though she clearly did, but because she couldn't afford to pay actual household staff anymore. And there was more. Ashley had been having an affair with her personal trainer, a guy named Marcus. The private investigator had photos, hotel receipts, everything. She was planning to divorce Joey and take half of his assets. I called my brother Riley and asked if I could stay with him. To my surprise, he said yes. He apologized for our fight and told me family was more important than money. Before I left, I made copies of everything: the loan documents, the photos of Ashley with Marcus, the private investigator's report, all of it. Riley lived in a small town about 4 hours away. For 2 weeks, I didn't contact Joey at all. I needed time to heal and to plan my next move, but I couldn't let Ashley destroy him without at least trying to save him. So I called him. "Mom?" Joey's voice was surprised. "Where are you? You just disappeared." "I'm staying with Uncle Riley." I needed some space to think. "Look, about what happened in the kitchen that day. Maybe we all said things we didn't mean." "Joey, I want to meet with you. Just you. No Ashley." "I don't think that's a good idea." "Ashley's still upset about the things you said." "There are things you need to know. Things about your wife that she hasn't told you." "What kind of things?" "Joey, I'm going to ask you one question. In the 2 years since you married Ashley, are you happier or less happy than you were before?" There was a long silence. "That's not fair," he said finally. "When's the last time you laughed? Really laughed? When's the last time you did something just because you wanted to, not because Ashley approved of it?" "Meet me for coffee tomorrow," I said. "1 hour. If you don't want to hear what I have to say after that, I'll leave you alone forever." He agreed to meet me at a coffee shop halfway between Riley's town and the city. Joey was already sitting at a corner table when I arrived. He looked tired, older than his 29 years. "Joey, before I show you what I need to show you, I want you to know that I love you. Everything I'm about to tell you comes from love, not revenge." I pulled out a manila folder and set it on the table. "Your wife isn't who you think she is." "She hired a private investigator to research me," I said, showing him the first document. "She knew about my job situation, my debt, everything, before you ever invited me to move in." Joey looked at the document, his forehead creasing. "I don't understand." "Why would she investigate you?" "Because she was planning to use me as free labor from the beginning." I showed him the next set of documents: the loan papers for the house, the bank statements showing Ashley's declining trust fund. "Your house wasn't a wedding gift, Joey. Ashley bought it with fraudulent loans. She's been using your money to make the payments." Then I pulled out the photographs of Ashley with Marcus. Joey's hands shook as he looked at them. "She's been cheating on you for over a year. There's a report here that details her plan to divorce you once your law practice is worth more." My son sat there for a long time, staring at the evidence. I watched his face go through shock, disbelief, hurt, anger. "Why are you showing me this?" he asked finally. Because you're my son, and I love you. Even after everything that's happened, I couldn't let her destroy you without trying to warn you. But if I believe this, then everything about my marriage is a lie. Yes, I said simply. It is. Joey put his head in his hands. God, Mom, what have I done to you? What have I done to myself? I reached across the table and took his hand. You fell in love with the wrong person. It happens. Will you, would you consider forgiving me? Eventually? I looked at my son and saw that the kind, loving boy I had raised was still in there somewhere. I already have, I said. But forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. If you decide to leave Ashley and rebuild your life, I'll support you. But I'm not going back to being the mother who sacrifices everything for her child. You're a grown man, and it's time you acted like one. I didn't hear from Joey for a week. Then, on a Thursday morning, my phone rang. Mom? Joey's voice was strained, exhausted. Hi, honey. Are you okay? No. No, I'm not okay at all. I confronted Ashley about everything. The affair, the money, all of it. How did she react? At first, she denied everything. Said you had forged the document somehow. But when I showed her the bank statements, the ones that proved she'd been taking money from our joint account, what happened? She got angry. Really angry. Started screaming about how I was choosing my psychotic mother over my own wife. But then she made a mistake. She got so mad that she started telling the truth. She said she never loved me, that she married me for financial security. She said I was boring and weak. My heart broke for my son. She's gone, Mom. I told her to pack her things and get out. She threatened to take half of everything in a divorce, but the prenup she had insisted on will protect my assets too. How are you holding up? I feel like an idiot, and I feel guilty, and I'm angry. Mostly at myself. Mom, I owe you the biggest apology in the world. You raised me better than this. I was crying now, but they were good tears. My son was back. You're not an idiot, I said. You were manipulated by someone who was very good at it. I want to make this right, Joey said. I want to pay you back for all the money I should have given you instead of letting you work as our servant. Joey, I don't want your money. Mom, please. Let me do this one thing. I need to do something to make up for how I treated you. Okay, I said finally, because you need to give it. And I was wondering if maybe you'd consider moving back home. I found a nice apartment, first month's rent paid. You wouldn't have to see me if you didn't want to, but I'd like the chance to rebuild our relationship. I decided to go back. The apartment Joey found was perfect, small but bright, in a neighborhood I had always loved. When I saw it for the first time, Joey was waiting for me with the keys. What do you think? He asked nervously. It's beautiful, I said, and I meant it. I also helped you get a job interview. There's a medical clinic about 10 minutes from here that's looking for experienced nurses. I got the job. It was part-time and the pay wasn't great, but it was honest work with people who treated me with respect. Joey and I started meeting for coffee once a week. At first, our conversations were careful, but gradually, we started to rebuild our relationship. I keep thinking about all the signs I missed, Joey told me one afternoon. The way Ashley talked about other people, how she treated service workers. You tried to warn me, didn't you? I was afraid if I said anything directly, you'd cut me out of your life completely, I admitted. I probably would have. She had me so convinced that you were jealous of our relationship. Were you happy? Really? Joey thought about it for a long time. No, I don't think I was happy for a single day of that marriage. I was constantly walking on eggshells. Ashley made me feel like I was lucky she chose me, like I didn't deserve better. It broke my heart to hear how thoroughly Ashley had destroyed my son's self-esteem. 6 months after Ashley left, she came back. I was at work when Joey called me, his voice tense. Mom, Ashley showed up at my house today. My blood ran cold. What did she want? She says she made a mistake. She broke up with Marcus and she wants to work things out between us. She's been crying, apologizing, saying she'll do anything to save our marriage. Please tell me you didn't let her in. I talked to her. Just for a few minutes. She seemed really sincere, Mom. She said she's been in therapy. Joey, no. Don't fall for this. She asked about you. Said she wanted to apologize to you too if you'd let her. If she's really changed, then she'll be willing to prove it over time. But if she starts pressuring you to take her back immediately, then you'll know this is just another game. Ashley's campaign to win Joey back was masterful. She sent thoughtful texts, left small gifts at his office, and showed up looking sad and beautiful. She told Joey that losing him had made her realize how much she loved him. 2 weeks later, Joey called with news I had been dreading. Mom, I've decided to give Ashley another chance. My heart sank. Joey. She's been going to therapy for 6 weeks now. She's been patient and respectful. And honestly, I miss being married. What about the things she said to you when you confronted her? About never loving you? People say things they don't mean when they're angry. What's your plan? We're going to start with couples therapy. If that goes well, maybe I'll ask her to move back in. And what about me? She says she wants to apologize to you. Would you be willing to meet with her? Maybe with the therapist there? Every instinct was screaming no, but I knew that if I refused, Ashley would use it as evidence that I was being unreasonable. I'll think about it, I said. The therapy session was scheduled for a Thursday afternoon. Ashley was already in the office when we arrived, looking smaller and more vulnerable than I had ever seen her. Samantha, she said when she saw me, her voice soft and nervous. Thank you for coming. Ashley began her apology. I've been working with Dr. Williams to understand why I behaved the way I did. I've come to realize that I was deeply insecure and threatened by your relationship with Joey. She explained her difficult childhood, her fear of losing Joey, her jealousy of our relationship. It was perfect. Absolutely perfect. She hit every note that a genuinely remorseful person would hit. Samantha, the way I treated you was unforgivable. I made you work like a servant in your own son's house. I am so sorry. Joey was beaming. He thought this was going wonderfully. But I had been manipulated by Ashley before, and I knew the difference between real remorse and performed remorse. Ashley's apology was all about her childhood, her insecurities, her journey of self-discovery. I think this is a good start, Doctor, Williams said. What about family therapy? Maybe the three of us could meet regularly? Ashley's eyes lit up. I would love that, if Samantha is willing. They both looked at me expectantly. Let me think about it, I said. Within 2 weeks, Ashley had moved back in with Joey. She started reaching out to me regularly with text messages and lunch invitations. It all seemed nice on the surface, but something felt performative. Ashley called me directly one evening. "I know we're still working on rebuilding trust between us. I've been thinking about what you said in therapy, about how the damage can't be undone with one conversation. You're absolutely right." She paused, as if getting emotional. "I know I don't deserve your forgiveness, but I hope you'll give me the chance to try to earn it." "Ashley, can I ask you something? Do you love my son? Really love him?" There was a pause. Just a fraction of a second, but I heard it. "Yes," she said. "I love him more than anything in the world." That tiny pause told me everything I needed to know. Ashley was still playing a game. I agreed to have dinner with them, not because I believed Ashley had changed, but because I needed Joey to see what she was really planning. The dinner started pleasantly. Ashley was charming and attentive, but as the evening went on, I started to notice the cracks. When Joey stepped outside to take a work call, Ashley's entire demeanor changed. "So, Samantha, how are you really adjusting to your new life?" "I'm doing well," I said carefully. "Good. It must be nice to have your independence back." There it was, the subtle reminder that I was no longer part of their daily life. Ashley leaned forward. "I just want you to know that Joey and I are in a really good place now. We don't really need outside interference anymore." She was telling me to back off again. "I hope you'll understand that sometimes what's best for Joey might not be what you think is best for him. Sometimes the most loving thing a mother can do is step back." Before I could respond, Joey came back inside. "Sorry about that. Everything okay here?" "Perfect," Ashley said, her warm smile instantly back in place. But this time, I wasn't going to wait for her to make the first move. I didn't confront Ashley directly. Instead, I decided to give her exactly what she wanted and let her destroy herself in the process. Over the next few weeks, I gradually pulled back from Joey. I canceled coffee dates, stopped calling as often. When he invited me to things, I politely declined, saying I wanted to give him and Ashley space. Joey noticed. "Mom, are you okay? You seem distant lately." "I'm fine. Just busy with work." And Ashley's right. You two need time to focus on your relationship. "I don't want you to feel like you have to stay away. I'm just being mindful of boundaries." By backing off voluntarily, I was removing Ashley's ability to push me out. She couldn't complain about me being too involved if I wasn't involved at all. And Joey, who had already lost me once, was starting to panic about losing me again. Meanwhile, without me as a target, Ashley started turning her controlling behavior on Joey again. She began criticizing his work schedule, his friends, his hobbies. She started fights about small things. Within a month, Joey was calling me more often, sounding stressed. "I don't understand what's happening. Ashley seems unhappy all the time. Nothing I do is right. Maybe it's just an adjustment period." But she was so different before. Now she's acting like she used to. Ashley had made the classic mistake. She thought she could turn her bad behavior on and off like a switch. But without the pressure of possibly losing Joey, she was reverting to her true nature. The breaking point came 6 weeks after our dinner. Joey called me at work, crying. "Mom, I think I made a terrible mistake." "What happened?" "Ashley and I had a huge fight. She accused me of being emotionally unavailable. Then she said that maybe the problem is that I'm still too attached to you. What did you say? I told her that wasn't fair, that you've barely been involved in our lives since she moved back in, and she said that was the problem. She said you were manipulating me by pulling away. Ashley had painted herself into a corner. When I was too involved, I was interfering. When I stepped back, I was manipulating. What do you think? I asked gently. I think she's looking for reasons to be unhappy. I think she's trying to control me, and when I don't do exactly what she wants, she finds someone else to blame. My son was finally seeing clearly. Do you think Ashley really changed? Or do you think she was just pretending? I think she was pretending. I think everything she said in therapy was an act, and now that she thinks she has me back, she's showing me who she really is again. What are you going to do? I'm going to ask her to leave. For real this time. And I'm going to file for divorce. If you're enjoying this story of standing up to toxic people, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. Stories like this show us that sometimes the best revenge is simply letting toxic people destroy themselves. Ashley's second departure was messier than the first. She threatened lawsuits and tried to turn Joey's friends against him. But Joey stood firm. He had learned to recognize manipulation, and he refused to be controlled by fear anymore. The divorce was finalized 4 months later. Ashley got very little thanks to her own prenup. She moved back in with her parents and immediately started dating someone new. Joey and I rebuilt our relationship slowly and carefully. We both went to therapy to process what had happened. I'm sorry it took me so long to see the truth, Joey told me one evening. You weren't supposed to see it. Ashley was very good at what she did. That's not your fault. We both learned something. The question is, what do we do now? Now we move forward. We build a relationship based on honesty, respect, and healthy boundaries. And we remember that love isn't supposed to hurt. Ashley had tried to destroy both of us, but in the end, she had only made us stronger. She had taught us what real love wasn't, which helped us recognize what real love was. Sometimes the best revenge isn't getting even. Sometimes it's simply refusing to let toxic people steal your joy, your relationships, or your sense of self-worth. The most important lesson I learned is that you can't love someone into treating you well. You can't sacrifice enough to change someone who doesn't want to change. But you can choose to surround yourself with people who appreciate your love instead of people who take advantage of it. And that choice can change everything. If this story resonated with you, if you've ever dealt with toxic family members or manipulative relationships, I want you to know that you're not alone. Hit that like button if you believe everyone deserves to be treated with respect. Subscribe for more stories about standing up for yourself and setting healthy boundaries. Remember, you are worthy of love that doesn't come with conditions.